People use the drug either smoking it, snorting it, booty bumps, which is putting it in a syringe without the needle and shooting it up your rear end. Most recently, we've heard about people using the same type of syringe without the needle and shooting it up their nostrils. So it just fires up into the brain.
Methamphetamine, compared to other drugs of abuse and dependence, is one of the most difficult to deal with, one of the most dangerous. It has one of the shortest latency periods from exposure to dependence of almost anything that we know of. Our estimates about how many people have been exposed and how many people are actually dependent are based on data that we gather from the number of people who actually present for treatment and the number of people who are being convicted of crimes associated with methamphetamine. But many people believe that the numbers that we have are just the tip of the iceberg.
Hello and welcome to Talking About. I'm your host, John Griffith, and I am in beautiful West Hollywood, California, and I am with a very special guest, Jimmy Palmieri. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
So, I mean, great rooftop, great t-shirt that I'm wearing, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the Tweakers Project, which is this pretty much your baby from the get-go?
Yeah, the Tweakers Project, I founded because of a friend that was having issues with, someone that I loved very much that was having issues with crystal meth. And it didn't seem as though there were a lot of positive reinforcement. It seemed like a lot of the ads that were happening were very down, and which I think all ads are perfect and all ads are needed and every angle should be hit.
Right.
We wanted to hit from a very positive angle, and as you can see, this is one of our 6 spokesmodels. This happens to be Paul Akakis. I'm sure you know who he is. He's a famous singer, was Armani's muse, and he ran into a little bit of trouble. And he's sober since '97, looking great, feeling healthy, and we try to portray, yeah, you can get life back. There is a life after crystal.
Yeah, well, actually, he's been open about his addiction since before it was, I don't know if fashionable is the right word.
Exactly.
But, well, you said it was because of a friend, but what is really the underlying foundation and evolution of how everything got started?
I lost contact with a really close friend of mine, from seeing him every day to not knowing where he was. And I get a phone call one day that he is in rehab in Oregon. His family came and had to take him away. And then it started to click. I had lost several friends this way. And, you know, I was ignorant to what crystal was. I knew of every other drug, but I was ignorant to what crystal was, and I was ignorant to the effects of crystal. I was ignorant to the psychotic ramifications of crystal. So I think it was born out of love, actually. And the project, the Tweakers Project, began with a film called Tweakers, which I'm going to give you. And you
okay, and we'll take a little look at it.
Yeah, and you're welcome to show any part of it that you like. But what we did was, the city, thank God, is our co-sponsor. They loved our proposal.
Meth is a non-discriminatory destroyer. Cheap, intense, and seductive. It can lead to an addiction so powerful, so demoralizing, that few can break. Of those who try Tina for the first time, nearly half say they have an intense desire to use again. 84% of second-time users show a pattern of increasing use. Only 6% of meth users seeking recovery for the first time stay sober. The drug promises turbocharged sex, high energy togetherness. It delivers death, physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental.
What are the components of crystal meth?
It can be anything. I mean, really, depending on, and when people buy crystal meth, they don't always know what they're getting. We know that there are many, many different ways to produce crystal methamphetamine, and that's part of the problem, because the toxins, as we make it, the raw materials more and more difficult to get, people are getting more and more creative, and they're using more and more toxic things to produce this drugs, like rat poison, like fertilizer, like strong acids and bases. You know, we do know that the chemicals that are used in the production of this drug are incredibly toxic. And the locations where this drug is made they become toxic waste sites.
We filmed at Gay Pride. Christopher Street West has been our sponsors, one of our sponsors since the inception. And we had people who actually had trouble with crystal give their stories. Some of them very heartbreaking, some of them, you know, still using, but we wanted that. We wanted that. And we opened, most people were praying for 50 or 60 people to come and see it, and we had 650 people.
Wow.
We literally had to put us at the Pacific Design Center. They had to put a separate area with a big screen plasma for the overflow, which to me was so heart-wrenching, because it meant that many people needed to see it.
Right.
And you know, I'm going to hold this up because we're on a beautiful rooftop with a wonderful view, and I don't want
and a nice breeze.
Yeah, a beautiful breeze. It's a great California day, and that's where it's come from, and it has evolved into Facebook is magic.
Yes.
Because I put this on Facebook, and now I have the pleasure of meeting you from New York, but I've met people literally met them when they come here, from China, from Indonesia. I have folks there from Iran that can't access information like this, and although they only stay on for a second, they still can send me a quick email and say thank you, because I don't have this information.
Right.
And at this point, we're an open group, which means it's not a private group, and I did that purposely so that family members can join also.
Okay.
And to have 1,050 members in an open drug group is really an accomplishment, as you probably know.
So yes, I mean, I stumbled across it, and I've been following for a few months before I came out here, and just, you know, seeing the numbers of people accessing your site rise, as well as just, you know, the participation and your postings within it. But for those who may not know, well, what is the website besides Facebook?
The actual website is www.tweakersproject.org or tweakersproject.com or the Tweakers Project. We own all of them. So what is on the website are these beautiful images that were photographed gratis from famed photographer Eric Schwabel, and they're downloadable into poster size, letter size, postcard size. There's information on how to access resources. AA, Crystal Meth Anonymous, Sex Anonymous, because we find that crystal and sex sort of mesh.
Yeah.
And we are going, because we have people from all over the world now, and the shirt that you're wearing, every state is represented with one of those shirts at this point, which to me is magic. You know, I put a quick note, the first person from every state gets a free shirt, and I was inundated. I didn't realize that many people were reading. And I sent out the shirts, and they all took a picture, and they all sent it, proudly wearing them, as I hope you will.
Yes.
And that's going on our friends wall on the website, which will be up in about another month, all of this new stuff. We'll have a quiz on there to see what your knowledge is of crystal meth and recovery methods. And we'll, of course, have the right answers, but we want to see how you do on the quiz. And we will continue to update and have resources in all different cities, which was our plan.
Right. I mean, I've seen, and I've done shows on meth addiction before, and we've seen the de-evolution that somebody goes through when they're using, and I don't want to say everybody who does, but a pretty huge percentage. Just skinnier, fewer teeth, and just less coherent faculties, and you're showing the healthy side of recovery also.
Now, these are very lucky people. I'm going to put my sunglasses on, with no disrespect, but it's very sunny up here. These are people that have decided, I'm done. I'm through. I'm going to get better. And I want to make it clear that it is no easy task to get off of crystal meth. Approximately 90% of people using crystal will relapse within the first year of sobriety. It's just fact. But beyond that, it gets better, and the statistics get better and better and better at your second try, your third try. It seems to be one of those drugs that call you.
Okay.
And it has a lot of trigger factors, sex being a trigger factor, getting back into the arena of sex. How do I navigate myself through sex without crystal, because sex was so great on crystal, you know? When in reality, I think the brain thinks it's great, but your penis doesn't work.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're constantly chasing that orgasm. It's like chasing the dragon.
Okay.
It just doesn't happen, you know?
So yeah, I mean, my club days and my party days are long behind me, and I'm very fortunate that meth wasn't as prevalent in New York when I was doing that. But I read so much and I see so much, and again, just people disappearing off of the face of the earth, and it gets to me.
It's AIDS revisited, because I remember losing friends to HIV and AIDS when there were no medications, and they were shrinking, and their teeth were falling out, and they were being covered with spots, and they had dementia, and they were lost, and they were souls that weren't being taken care of. And it seems to have all of that same effect. It's wasting bodies and losing teeth and schizophrenic behavior. And we've already gone through that.
Right.
So it's time for all of us. And you know, I'm not an ex-meth user, so I can't say from experience how difficult it is. But I'm around users and people in recovery every day, and I watch them, and I watch the struggle, but I also watch the beautiful part of when they're able to actually overcome it.
So yeah, and it's about overcoming, and it's not an on-off switch. It's a process.
Yes.
And you lay out very, very matter-of-factly some significant portions of the process, or at least places where you can go to get the support that you need. And support is an incredibly important, and you can never really overstate the importance of a support network in recovery.
We call it a sober circle. And you know, crystal meth, the Tweakers Project, by the way, does not recommend any type of recovery. We recommend all types of recovery.
Right.
You know, and I always make a joke, and I say, if bobbing for apples in the morning is going to keep you sober, then I'm all for that. You know, there are 12 steps, and I love those programs, and there are people that can do it through meditation, and that's beautiful. And there are people that have a medical intervention with maybe some antidepressants given by a doctor, and I think that's beautiful. Some people choose some type of faith or religion, and if that works, I think that's beautiful. Right. But I'm sorry, but I also believe that it's not a one-prong approach. It's a way of getting sober, whichever way you choose. It's a way of appreciating yourself again and understanding that you're a vital force. It's also eating correctly, because when you're on a crystal binge, you're not eating. It's taking care of your body, and it's having pride in taking care of yourself. It's like, welcome back to your life. Right. And your life really is valuable, regardless of how people around you might make you feel.
No, I think probably learning how to live your life again. It's, you know, you get up in the morning, you make your bed. You know, start at the beginning, and just making healthy choices. Yeah,
healthy choices is exactly what in my head. I never preach to anyone. I just, is that what you want to do today? If you know, if you want to use today, that's your choice. If you want to go to the gym today, that's your choice. You know, but remember, going to the gym gave you something positive. Right. Using brought you to where you are. And you know, there's a sad part of crystal meth. You know, slamming, which is injecting crystal meth, and has made the rise of HIV and Hep C enormous for the first time in 10 years. Right. And unsafe sex, because no one's thinking to put on a condom. No one's thinking of having anal sex, protected anal sex, when they're using crystal. They're just looking for the next trick. Right. And you know, I have friends in recovery that have said that they may have done 20 people in a day. You know, and not know who they were, and never use a condom. Right. Sadly, have contracted HIV. And you know, but they're still alive, and they're living, and they're here to tell the story.
Right, and helping the next person.
It's always about that. It's always about giving back, and you know what? You can't keep it if you don't give it. And peace, serenity, however you might call it, peace of mind, peace of spirit, peace of soul, whatever you feel it is for you, I don't care.
Yeah, just getting it together.
Yeah,
Plain and simple, just getting it together and keeping it together.
And I think we're really worth it. I mean, are you in agreement with me that gay men are worth it? And it's not that lesbians or women don't use it, because they do. In the town that you and I are sitting in right now, the highest demographic is gay men, and that's just fact, you know.
So again, and a significant part of the audience, but you're not exclusive to that either. So anybody who reaches out for help.
Everybody. Transgender, lesbian, gay men, straight women, and when you see the film, you'll see we have lesbian stories in it, and it seems that lesbians use it for a different reason. They'll use it for a weight loss.
It's funny that is exactly what popped into my head. It's like okay, it's like weight loss.
They think it's a quick diet, but they get caught up in the cycle really quickly. And you know, a woman that I admire very much, who works at one of the rehabs, said, with lesbians, the mess gets messy fast, in that their friends dump them, so they wind up with gay guys, because gay guys do this tribally. And by tribally, I mean everyone is doing it together. It's a tribal drug. It doesn't seem to be a you know, I'm going to do it and I'm going to hide. It's I'm going to do it and I'm going to get laid and it's going to make me feel good. But ultimately, a drug that is used initially to be social does isolate you, and does make you stay in the house, and makes you hide under your table because you hear voices and you think the police are after you, and you hear helicopters in your apartment. All of these hallucinations are fact, and they're not exclusive to one person. There's a common denominator of hallucinations and hearing voices.
Okay. So again, it's good to know, and because I'm fortunate enough not to have the experience.
Yeah, but I think, you know, for me, you know, I'm not about saving the world. The Tweakers Project actually provides no service. The Tweakers Project is information only.
Well, information is a service.
Well, we provide no in-house service, is actually what I meant to say. We provide information through film, through the internet, through print, through television and interviews like this, and the response. And I'm not a suit. I don't dress like a suit, so people are not afraid to approach me. You know, I'm just like any street person walking out here. So I can talk to folks on the street in Hollywood. I can talk to folks in a church. No one's afraid to approach me. And the beauty part for me is that I get to say, okay, if you're looking for help, I can get it for you. And people respond, I think, a little bit to that. And for me, I'm really grateful. Because I can't stop anyone from using, but I can certainly provide a service of getting them somewhere.
Right, and if somebody asks a question, you can give the answer. If somebody reaches out a hand, you can offer a hand back.
Exactly, and I do.
So, just back to the film a little bit. So you mentioned the screening, but a little bit more about how the film came into being.
I was doing a television show, and I think I told you I was contracted for 4 episodes, and we went on to do hundreds of episodes.
Right.
And my producer and I, we just hit it off, and her and her partner and I, we worked well together. And we said, why don't we do a 3-minute PSA and run it instead of someone else's PSA during our show? And we sort of started playing, and we were mentioning it to people, and we mentioned it to the city and to other nonprofits, and we thought, maybe, you know, let's see who's interested. At the end of the day, we were given enough in-kind support and financial support to actually make an 1 hour and 12-minute docudrama, and it was SAG, which put us through hoops.
Okay.
Because we did have some actors reenacting parts that were written in the book called Tweakers, and because it's an anonymous book, we had no access to those actual people.
Right.
So we had to reenact their words, and Tony Award winner Elizabeth Ashley played a heartbreaking part of a mom who had a son very late in life who just could not get off of it. And you know, I don't know how many of your viewers will get to see the film. I hope they will, but ultimately she finds him hanging in a tree in their backyard because he couldn't fight these demons. He loved his mom, and he wants it to be a good son. And his suicide note was, I want to be a good son, I want to be a good man, but I don't see that happening. And he hung himself.
Yeah, so it's some very powerful stories.
Yeah, and you know, but then we end with Coco Peru, and I don't know if you know who Coco Peru is. Coco Peru, a dear friend of mine, and said, there's no part in this film for me. And I said, no, there really is. And I went to his house, and we went through it. And I said, now your part is at the end, because I don't want anyone leaving here feeling heavy. And Coco nailed this. Everyone left on a light note with embedded in their head the stories, but Coco let them leave on a light note. And I've been complimented on that so many times, and it was purposeful. We wanted the stories to be effective, and we actually had the people that were in the film that had live stories to tell there, and they answered questions. But Coco really brought it to where people could take a breath, because up until that point, some of the stories were, can't breathe. Could this really be true? Is this really true?
If you have a huge weight on your chest, you can't breathe. You need a little laughter or a little something to break it.
Within the next week, all of the headlines, we were very blessed by the press, and I was afraid. I'd never made a film before. The press was amazing to us. We didn't get any. First we received no bad review, but we received raves and we received compliments. But many of the headlines were drain cleaner, because Coco's tagline was, in one of the ingredients in crystal meth, and I don't know if your audience knows this, is drain cleaner. And you know, we panned close, did a psycho turn, and drain cleaner, she said 3 times, and it just became a catchphrase out here, and it was wonderful because people actually got to know what the ingredients were, but in a funny way.
So I mean, it's something to think about before picking it up for the first time.
Sure.
Say, would you go for the can of Drano?
Well, Coco's line is, do I really want drain cleaner in my body? I don't think so.
Exactly.
You know, and we enjoyed great success with that, and I thought, how do we turn this into something other than the film? Because the film was superfluous to the project. It was just one other method of outreach. And we showed it in college campuses, we showed it at men's forums, we showed it everywhere. We showed it so many times. It shows in the gay and transgender jail section in the Los Angeles County Jail. Every 3 weeks I was doing screenings there.
That's great.
Yeah, I was a little nervous because the jails went into lockdown several times while I was there. And I was trapped in a room for 3 hours, you know, locked up with a social worker. And it was scary, and the inmates were not allowed to touch me, and you know me, as soon as I met you, I hugged you.
Yes.
I wanted to shake their hand, or I wanted to, but what we did was we just touched fingertips. There were guards there, and we touched fingertips, and you know, it felt really good. And some of them said, I hope I can become part of your project when I get out of here, and maybe they will. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. So
but when I left there, you know what I thought? Any one of them could be any one of us. So how did it happen? I don't know. You know.
He says, well, no, there but for the grace of God.
Exactly, exactly.
So, and you pulled out some material before we started that you wanted to.
I want to show you. You know, we do things subliminally with the Tweakers Project, and collateral material, or materials that are to draw people in, like glittery things at Pride. These beads, we gave out 8,000 of these beads at Pride, at the Gay Pride Festival. I don't know if I hope your viewers can see it, but of course they're Mardi Gras beads with images of the different models. And the website is on the bottom. And we give those out. And one of the shirts that you have on, Sober Sizzles, has just been amazing. And we give these out. We never charge. We charge cost, which is like $5.
Okay.
You know, we're not looking to make a profit. And Eric Schwabel did amazing photos. I mean, as you can see, some of these pictures are so great.
Right.
And, you know, I ran these by HIV providers for West Hollywood, and you know, sex can be a trigger. This absolutely can be a trigger. But when I ran it by focus groups in the colleges without the wording, it grabbed everybody's eye.
Right.
So I chose the photos that grab people's eyes. And, you know, I hate this, but sex sells, as you know.
Right.
I hate it, but that's just reality. So beautiful picture of Paul is going to have someone read the website, then that's what I'm going to do. You know, and a lot of people were saying, but you didn't use average-looking folks, and we focus grouped average-looking folks, and we put them near the, and these were where everybody's eyes went. So, you know, in the limited amount of money I had to make it work.
Right. And so you made an executive decision, and yeah, you're catching people's eyes, which brings people's eye down to the website, which gets people to the information, and yeah, it's a chain reaction, but a good chain reaction. Yeah.
I caught your eye, and where were you?
Exactly.
You're in New York. Here I am in LA, and now we're having this wonderful conversation that you get to carry back.
Exactly, and through the wonders of the internet. And on the internet, people can find you at tweakersproject.org.
Or Facebook. The Tweakers Project.
Okay.
And they could also friend me, Jimmy Palmieri, Palmieri, and a lot of people that are afraid to go into the Tweakers Project group, email me through Facebook. And
but you post regular updates through through both the Tweakers Project's fan page or group page, as well as your own. So
always updates.
Right. So the information is there. It's just a matter of reading it. It's a click. It's a click away.
And just you know, I'm going to say two things. All of this imagery is available for free. If you want to have it in your city, just put your own information on the back. It's never for sale. It cannot be for sale, but it's everyone is able to take this. They can use it for your own project. And my favorite thing to always wrap up with, or to let people know, is if you can hear my voice, and clearly your audience can hear my voice, you can be helped. If you're if you hear my voice or see my image, we can help you some way, somehow. I don't care if you live in Utah, I'll find a way to help you. And we will, we do. And we're very grateful for that.
Well, thank you so very much for sitting with me, inviting me to your rooftop with this great view.
I'm really lucky. How lucky am I? I mean, we're sitting in one corner, but there's a pool right over there. There's a gym and a sauna, and we're enjoying this day here.
Exactly, and
just very fortunate.
And in appreciation of what you do, more people are able to enjoy the day. So if you've helped one person to see the light of day, you've done more than your job, and you've impacted humanity. And again, I thank you so much for that.
I thank you, and you know what? I do that for you because you're clearly getting the word out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to meet you. Really
Likewise.
Great to meet you.
And you've been watching Talking About, www.talkingabout.info. There are links to everything that we talked about on that website, as well as over 100 shows. We're on iTunes, we're on Facebook, we're everywhere that they'll let us be for free. So
watch.
So watch, join, listen, learn, and just have a great day. Thank you.
Now, do I really want drain cleaner in my body? I don't think so.